Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Leaving from the Wasada Hotel here in Dumai. Oh. Seems like a pretty good day for a bit of cycling. It's not raining, which is a good thing. And the sun is definitely going to be beating down at some point, but it's not too bad right now. Hello, good morning. It's 7:30 in the morning. A bit later than I'd like to leave, to be honest. It's kind of nice to have a bit of time on the road before the sun is far above the horizon. But this will be okay. Even with a relatively small place like Dumai, just navigating your way out of the city streets and into the countryside is generally the most challenging thing you're going to do all day. But I have a route mapped out. Just had to do a U-turn there to get off the one-way street, turn around and be headed in the right direction. You always have to do that the very first thing. And for the direction towards Bukitingi, I have a few choices I could make. Even for today, I could go down a very small countryside road, or I could go down something of a little bit more of a main road, kind of like the one I'm on right now. And then there's actually a new highway, like a busy toll road. Technically, it's probably not open to cyclists anyway, and a toll road wouldn't be much fun on a bike. So considering all the rain we've been having lately, I've decided to go for the medium route. The real countryside lane seemed like it went through a lot of palm oil plantations. So it can be quite a desolate area, not much going on. And a medium road like this one will have more activity, more things to look at, more people, more traffic at the same time, but I can handle that. One thing I've noticed in my life is that the very first 30 minutes or even 15 minutes is the trickiest. I don't know, it seems to be if I'm going to go in the wrong direction, that's always when it takes place. You've just looked at Google Maps, you're confident about where you're going, you're familiar with the city, and you just sort of head off, and then an hour later, you check and you've gone the wrong way. It happens all the time. So I've learned that when you reach a major intersection, your very first one like this, I'm fairly certain I know I'm supposed to turn left, but I'm going to double check just to make sure. Yes, I think I'm on track. I go left here. Seems ridiculous, but with Google Maps, it's pretty easy to get turned around simply because when you're looking at the map, you're facing in the opposite direction much of the time. So I kind of look at the map, and if you just sort of look at it casually, you might think, oh, I'm supposed to turn right at that intersection. But of course, you have to mentally swing yourself around and look at the map from the point of view of someone actually on that road, and then you say, oh no, it's the other way, you have to go left. And I've made that mistake enough times in my life that I've kind of figured out that confusing point, so I tend to go in the right direction. And I'm hoping today, and I'm hoping all days, will be a relatively casual one. I have no goal for going long distances. I don't have a destination in mind for today. Maybe a little town called Duri up ahead. That might be my goal for the end of the day. Very achievable one, I think, even though I'm not in any kind of physical condition. I'm leaving from Dumai quite a bit later than my plan, and that's because I got sick almost as soon as I arrived. I was supposed to be on the road quite a few days ago, but I got sick in Dumai, and quite a few mornings in a row I woke up and I really wasn't able to go anywhere. So spend more time in Dumai than I planned. Uh-oh, we've got a roundabout here. And I think I just go around this roundabout and continue more or less in the same general direction. But again, keeping with my theory that I just outlined here at this roundabout, I'm going to stop and check Google Maps again, just to make sure that I'm on the right track. Yes, I'm still on the right track. And the next milestone should be the entrance to the toll highway. Must be a bus stop here. Good morning. Yeah, for local people, something like that is a second nature, of course. That would be probably a bus leaving from the bus station. I know where the bus station is in Dumai. I never went there, but I found it on Google Maps. Hello. Just in case I decided to put my bike on the top of a bus to Bukitingi, save some days of cycling that way. Good morning. So I saw where the bus station was, but I think the buses from there, local people will know that They don't actually have to go to the bus station. They can wait at the side of the road there, and the bus will eventually pass them and pick the people up there. But I wouldn't know about that, so if I did take the bus, I would have started at the bus station. And there goes the bus, though I couldn't put my bike on that one. Doesn't have a roof rack. On the bike and new techniques, things like that, compared to cycling trips in the past. My life has changed a lot since the last time I was on a bike like this. They're small things, but they make a big physical change. For me, it's still relatively new to be on a bicycle with Google Maps at my side. Still feels like a new experience rather than staring at a paper map. So far, it's a pretty comfortable experience on this road. A lot of traffic, of course, cars, trucks, motorcycles, but there's so much variety that a slow-moving bicycle still fits in relatively well. The road has no shoulder to speak of, but the left lane is used mainly by scooters and motorcycles, and the right lane is used by big trucks and fast-moving traffic. So there's a nice separation between me and all the other traffic. The smaller road that I was thinking about would have had almost no traffic at all, but that's both a curse and a blessing. It's nice to be on a quiet, empty road, but then you're largely left to your own thoughts. No people around you at all. And I was in the mood to be in amongst the world right now. Nice to have people around, even if they're just zooming past. I've reached an important point on my route today. This is the turnoff for the main highway. This is the new highway, I guess, a toll road that goes to the capital city of Pekanbaru. And Pekanbaru is another direction that I could take, even the small road, or I should say, the smaller road that I'm on now. I could also stay on this road, and that will take me to Pekanbaru, and I might do that. It's a major city here in Dumai, the capital city. Might be interesting to see. But there is an option of turning off this road onto a smaller road that heads towards Bukitingi. So I have to decide, I have to decide after Duri which route I want to follow, through Pekanbaru or take the smaller roads and skip the big city. We'll see. Yeah, the physical nature of cycling is more and more apparent. I stopped for a minute just to check Google Maps, grabbed one of my water bottles, and before I knew it, I was downing like a liter of water all at once. You get very thirsty on a ride like this. Oh yeah, the road definitely changed now. This could be more challenging. It was 4 lanes for a while. Now we're down to 2. So things are getting quite a bit tighter. Everything coming up behind me is going to have to pass a lot closer. So it's not going to be quite as relaxing as it was up until this point. And that's a good argument, perhaps, for taking the smaller roads. Less traffic, it's always a good thing. But at the same time, a lot of the really big traffic, like I've seen quite a few luxury buses now, luxury liners. Very fancy, big, powerful buses, and they wouldn't be taking this road. They're all going to be taking the new toll highway. So I won't be sharing the road with a lot of the really big traffic. They would all take the new highway.
Instead of adding music to this cycling sequence, I thought I'd chat a little bit and do a voiceover here. From time to time I would stop at the side of the road, move the 360 camera to a new position, then walk behind the bike to check it over, make sure everything is attached, I'm not leaving everything or leaving anything behind. Take a drink of water, of course, watch all the huge trucks thundering past, and then I would get back on my bike and time an appropriate moment to start pedaling again and rejoin traffic. That was always a lot of fun. Here, if you look at the back of the trailer, you'll see a couple of sticks pointing out the back there, a green broomstick and a brown axe handle. Those are the two sticks that I picked up in Dumai, and I was using them to mount the GoPro on the front of the bike. And I wasn't sure which one worked better, the green broomstick or the brown axe handle. So I was bringing both of them with me for the time being until I decided which one worked better. A funny thing is, though, is that when people stop me, like young men in particular, stopped me quite often throughout the day. They wanted to just ask me questions about where I was from, where I was going, ask about the bike, and of course they wanted to take a selfie with me. And all these young men, when they saw those sticks sticking out of the back of the trailer, they assumed, naturally, now that I think about it, that they were weapons. I mean, why else would I be carrying sticks with me? And they would point at the sticks, point at me, and then they would make all these kung fu gestures because they were imagining that I was some kind of a martial arts expert on a bicycle, something like that. And I try to explain to them that no, those I just use them for mounting a GoPro, but that didn't make a lot of sense to them, I guess. They didn't really speak English, I don't speak Indonesian, so we're doing a lot of this through sign language and very basic vocabulary. But they just insisted that those must be weapons, and so I guess when they were showing people the selfies later on, they would say that they met this Canadian martial arts expert on a bicycle. But hey, I'll take the rep, even if I don't deserve it. You'll notice how fast I'm going here, even though I'm pedaling, and that relates to what I was talking about earlier, that even this road, which looks very flat to the eye, in fact went up and down quite a bit. So there were lots of times when I was, in low gear, pedaling quickly to climb uphill, and then you could stop pedaling and just coast down the other side. That's always one of the great joys of cycling, I guess. You get a lot of variety in your day. And that's one of the reasons I actually prefer, riding in mountainous areas. You'd think you want to ride on prairies or something, but they are, not as interesting as mountains. You have to climb up and down, but at least you get the variety of going up and then speeding down the other side, and you get all the amazing views along the way. Something I noticed in editing this video and reviewing these video clips is that they don't really convey how physically challenging this was. I mean, look at those trucks thundering past, the exhaust fumes, kind of the stress of the noise level of the trucks and cars coming up behind me. I'm always monitoring the traffic behind me in the rear view mirror. And here in the morning, I was still feeling pretty good. I was still feeling fresh. It wasn't that hot or anything like that yet. But as the hours went by and the sun came out and mid-afternoon, I was really suffering. Tired, burnt by the sun, hot, just kind of stressed out from the noise level of the road and the volume of traffic. And I developed a severe pain in both knees, and that really worried me as the day went on because I'd never had anything like that before. I just figured as long as my leg muscles were good to go, I could ride as far as I wanted to. I mean, usually the limit to how far I go is not just muscle power, but how my butt feels on the seat. My butt can get really sore, and that will stop me cycling for the day. But I've never struggled with knee problems in the past that I can remember. I mean, a little bit here and there in my lifetime, but nothing like I experienced on this day. I think I just tried to go too far, too fast in one day, and it was too much for my knees, and they just gave out. And I started to worry that I was actually doing permanent damage, that I was scraping all the cartilage out of my knees or something like that. And I tried to find a place to stay. I looked everywhere. I talked to local people, any kind of accommodation, a homestay, hotel, guest house, anything at all. But there was nothing along this highway that I could find, even in all the little towns that I passed through. And I pretty much ended up with the only option being to ride all the way to Duri, or pull over to the side of the road somewhere and set up my tent. And I wasn't really prepared to face a night in the tent yet, so I just kept going to Duri and crossed my fingers that this pain didn't mean that I was destroying my knees for life. And when I got to Duri, I quickly made up my mind that I was going to have to spend a day or two in Duri just to let my knees recover. I didn't know whether the next morning I would even be able to get out of bed or stand up. My knees were in that much pain. And eventually I reached a point, to be honest, where I wasn't filming a lot on video anymore because the physical exertion was too much. And the only way I even made it to Duri, to be honest, was podcasts. I'd listened to podcasts for the entire afternoon, all the hours in the afternoon to Duri, and just losing myself in the story of the podcast. And that's how mentally, I dealt with how hot it was, how tired I was, and how much my knees hurt. This guy, he was very interesting. He was one of many who he slowed down beside me and said hello and asked me how I was doing. And the funny thing is, with all the trucks going by and all the cars going by, a lot of them would honk their horns and give me a thumbs up or shout hello, shout some encouragement, something like that. And just to be polite, I felt like I had to respond in some way, wave back at them, shout hello, answer their questions. They'd ask me where I'm going, and I would say Bukatingi or Duri or Pekanbaru, whatever city sprung to mind, and we just have this little interaction. But after a while in the afternoon, I didn't even have the strength to do that, just to raise my hand off the handlebars, hold the handlebars straight with just one hand, and then wave at people was just too much effort. And shouting hello was also too much effort. and people even honking their horns was a bit much for me. There was so much heavy noise, like traffic, the roar of traffic on this road, that all the honking that was meant to be encouragement, meant to be a friendly gesture, was actually something of an annoyance as the day went on. And I kind of wished all these friendly horn honkings would stop. Yeah, it was more than I could handle. And here I'm pulling over to the side of the road to check on the camera, make sure it's still there, hasn't fallen off, and was still recording. And at this point, I will switch back into live narration of my journey as I try to put down the kickstand so the bike does not fall over. There I go, I got it.
Cycling down this road, I keep thinking about something that I always end up thinking about, is just the volume of stuff that we humans consume. Because, yeah, just the number of trucks barreling along. And of course, all these trucks are carrying things from city to city to sell, and for all of us people to end up consuming in one way or another. A lot of these orange and green trucks, I assume they're carrying some kind of oil. Oh, a dog. Pretty rare to hear a dog barking. Not that many dogs here. But yeah, I was thinking the other day about world population as well, because one of the landmarks of this year, of course, of 2022, is that the human population reached 8 billion people. That just seems astonishing to me, because I think back, I don't have the numbers at the tips of my fingers, but there was a time not that long ago when there were 2 billion people in the world, maybe back in the 50s, maybe 40s, I don't know. And I think when I was born in my childhood years, overpopulation was a big topic. World overpopulation, predictions for famine and running out of oil, running out of everything, that there's too many people in the world. That's all anyone ever talked about, was population growth, overpopulation. What was that guy's name? Ehrlich? He wrote that book, The Population Bomb, predicting gloom and doom as the human population rises and rises, and we're all supposed to be dead in the next couple of decades. And that was back when the world had about 3 billion people. And since then it's risen. That state, the world being viewed as massively overcrowded already at 3 billion. And now, to get to today, imagine adding 5 billion more people to that 3 billion to get to the 8 billion of today. It's just mind-boggling how many more people there are now. And I don't know, we keep making room for them. But I'm pretty sure this part of Indonesia looked a lot different back in those days of 3 billion people. Yeah, these are these orange and green trucks I'm talking about. They must belong to the national, you know, petrochemical company. What's it called? Pertamina? I think it's the national company. I get the feeling they're transporting some sort of oil, gas product all over the place. Maybe unrefined oil, I don't know. There's a big pipeline I've been following along this road off on my left. Been looking at that pipeline all this time, wondering how much oil it's carrying.
Right here, we've jumped ahead many hours and many kilometers later as I arrive in Duri. It's quite late in the afternoon, and when I set off from Dumai, I really didn't want to cycle all the way to this town. I was hoping to cut the journey in half, spend the night in a hotel halfway to Duri, and then complete the journey the next day, just to ease into the cycling and give my body time to adjust to being on the bike. But I ended up riding the entire distance here, and as I mentioned earlier, my knees had completely fallen apart. I was sore everywhere, and the noise and the traffic level from this highway had worn me down to almost nothing. So I arrived in Duri in pretty rough shape. Part way to this town, about 20 kilometers earlier, I had stopped at the side of the road for a snack. I got some mie ayam bakso. And when I got off my bike to go into the bakso restaurant, to be honest, I could barely walk. And then I had a lot of trouble getting back on the bike. My knees, as I said, were in really bad shape. And I didn't really want to cycle the last 20 kilometers, but I did. And here I am in downtown Duri, stopping for a cold drink. And look at that traffic going on the main road behind me. The thing about Duri is the main downtown road, this road that I'm on, is exactly the same road as the main highway going through this part of Sumatra. So all of the traffic that doesn't even want to go to Duri, like all these huge trucks, they're not trying to go to Duri, they're trying to move on to go to Pekanbaru, maybe to Java, maybe to Jakarta. But all of the major traffic on the highway has to go through downtown Duri to continue on their way. So it's a pretty busy road. And I was in no shape to deal with it at this point, no shape at all. When I stopped for Bakso, I got out my phone and I booked this hotel through Agoda. This is the Brasco Hotel, low budget kind of place. I was pretty happy with my choice. It's right downtown in Duri, but things did not work out. This is the lobby, and when I showed up, even though I had a confirmed booking and paid for the night, they wouldn't give me a room.
Well, you know how good things and bad things come in threes? That seems to be happening because I'm here at Brasco, and as I said, I booked a room here for tonight on Agoda. They're listed on Agoda, the reservation went through, the payment went through, everything is fine. But then I go to the front desk and they say, we're not accepting anything from Agoda anymore. And then they look at me with a smile, like that explains everything. Says, no, I'm sorry, we're not accepting Agoda. And of course I'm there, I'm using Google Translate, you know, with the young man, very nice young guy at the front desk. But at the same time, as far as customer service goes, you know, it's fairly negative because he just said, well, you know, okay, so you booked on Agoda, but we aren't accepting Agoda, so you don't have a room. You know, we have rooms available and we can rent you one, but you're going to have to pay for it. And I said, well, I've already paid you for this room. And he says, well, we don't accept it from Agoda anymore. So that's the end of the discussion. He just kept saying that over and over again. He called his boss, he called supervisors, and then talked to them, and then he wrote another message that just said, oh, we don't accept Agoda anymore. And I'm saying, and I kept repeating, but you are accepting Agoda. If you're not going to accept Agoda, remove your hotel listing from Agoda. You know, you have to do that. You can't just say we don't accept it anymore. It doesn't work that way. So here I am explaining how you know, it works to them. And the number two thing that went wrong, anyway, I have no choice. I basically have to go find another hotel. And I'm not in the mood to do that, I must say. And then I was going to book another room, you know, investigate hotels on Agoda. And of course, when I tried to log in, I got kicked out of Agoda. It said, oh, you know, you have to log in again. And it's like, now I've got to go through this long process. I can't connect to the internet here. And it won't let me log into the Agoda system now because I'm not connected to the internet. And then I was just going to record a little bit of video, and I noticed that my microphone battery had died. And it turns out it died way before I even entered the town of Duri. So all the video that I shot here in Duri, where I'm talking about my experiences of the day, arriving here, what this town is like, all of that has no audio at all. So, third strike. Anyway, now I just have to, just go find another hotel. It's about 5:30 now. So, back on the bike. Well, I changed my mind, and I am going to stay here one night. I don't really have a choice. The irony is, the other hotels I was considering that are in my price range, they were like 5 kilometers back. I already passed them, and I decided not to stay there because this place was about the same price on Agoda, and it's right in the middle of town. So, you know, I'm right in the middle of town. I thought that would be better. And I thought at that price I could stay here for 2 nights. As I said, my knees are not feeling very well. And I thought it would be wise to just stay here for one day, just to make sure that tomorrow my knees are okay before I try to cycle anywhere else. So that was the plan, and I thought if I was going to stay here for a day, I might as well be in the heart of downtown rather than way out in the wilderness, you know, kind of in the outskirts. So I was near all these budget hotels, and I didn't even stop to look at them because I already booked a room, basically. I booked a room and paid for it here. And as I already explained, You know, the fact that you booked it through Agoda doesn't mean you have a room if they just tell you, well, we don't accept Agoda at the front desk. There's really like, there's nothing you can do. It's not like you can demand they give you a key. Anyway, so the real room rate is 3 times higher than what it is on Agoda. So I went online and I was looking for any kind of hotel in this neighborhood, but Duri doesn't have a lot of hotels apparently. Maybe they do have inexpensive ones, but you have to be a local person to know where they are. All the ones I see are at this price range, and then they jump up to like 500,000, 1 million rupiah, you know, like the luxury hotels. There's nothing in between. So I felt like, yeah, I'm so tired. I didn't want to turn around and ride another 5 kilometers out of the city, back the way I came. And who knows what's going to happen there. This was the hotel where they said online that most people couldn't find it, that their Google Maps listing was not accurate and it hadn't been updated. So I didn't want to take a chance. So I just bit the bullet and paid for this room for one night. And they have a garage downstairs. So I have my bike in a garage down there. So anyway, there's a little bit of a weird open lobby area up here. This is an old hotel. Normally, I would love this place. At the original price, I would love this place. It's my kind of place. Vintage style, you know? You know, everything has got that almost like a 1970s look to it. And this is my room, 204 for the night. Give a quick tour. Yeah, I mean, they're still branded as an Oyo hotel, and I think to be in the Oyo universe, you have to be available online, right? Or maybe you can book it through the Oyo website. I haven't downloaded the app for Oyo, so I'm not sure about that. I'll have to look into that. Maybe I could have booked this room through the Oyo app. But yeah, for what I paid for, this room is not a good value. It's smaller, much smaller than my room in Dumai, which was a quarter the price. This room is 4 times more expensive than my room in Dumai. And my room in Dumai had a refrigerator. It's twice the size. So this is not good value in any way. Well, it is time to shut down my cameras for the day and get unpacked and organized, find something to eat. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they can order something from the front desk for me. That would be nice if they could. My first hotel in Dumai was really nice about that. They actually had a menu at the front desk, and then you could choose, you know, meals there, and then they would arrange to have it delivered from the restaurant. So that was kind of handy. Somehow, based on my interactions with a young guy down at the front desk, I don't think that's a possibility here, but we'll see. Yeah, when I finally said, okay, I'll take the room and I'll pay for it again. I don't have a choice, and I'll pay for it a second time, basically. I did ask for a discount. We were using Google Translate to communicate, and I said that, you know, considering that, you know, I already booked and paid for this room, you know, through Agoda. What do you say? You know, I'm paying for it twice, basically. Do you think you could give me a discount on your main rate? And he just said no. I think he just said one word, no. I don't think he has any powers at all, you know, to do anything in this hotel. He can't offer discounts or deals, or all he can do is say, you know, we don't accept Agoda, and no discounts. So that was the end of it. Very helpful, though. He helped me bring my bags up into the room and carried my water bottles up here for me. Posed for a selfie once he learned that I had a YouTube channel. All right, so yeah, quick shower, unpacking, shutting down, and then I guess I'm gonna try and find something to eat. And with that, yeah, I think what I'll do tomorrow maybe is I'll stay in Duri tomorrow, but I'll just move to a different hotel. Like I'll move to one of the budget hotels for one night, just to give my knees a chance to tell me how they're feeling tomorrow. You know, I think it'll be nice to stay in this town for 2 nights and then move on from there. Yeah, I'm not in the mood to be like back on the bike tomorrow morning, you know, at the crack of dawn. I'm not going to be ready for that, I don't think. So I'm going to stay here for a day and enjoy the town of Duri. And I'll see you in the next video.